So on the cover, you know, it's a black cover on purpose. Because we all born, before you're born, you're in the dark. You know, you're in the womb, it's dark in there. You can hear, you can actually see silhouettes as far as what biology has taught us.
Right.
So everything looks like a shadow. This is you, that's me, that's everyone. I know it looks like a man, but you know, in today's world, you know, there's really no difference between men and women, you know, the way that it's being portrayed in the media. That's a whole nother topic that I won't get into right now. But that's you, the person coming through the light. The red, anybody want to take a guess what the red is, other than you?
What's the question?
Do you want to take a guess to see what the red in this picture?
Blood.
That's blood. The blood of the people before you, the blood that you're going to shed on your way out of the womb. Because, you know, information and knowledge is difficult to deal with. You could tell me the truth all day. If I don't want to hear it, I'm going to block it out. I don't want to hear that. You know, it's tough. It's difficult. 3 dates on here. This is what made me write the book. These 3 dates. 3 years, rather. 1921, 1965, 1968. You know, I was brought up, you know, my parents, you know, they were very, how can I say this? They were down with the Black Power movement, basically. You know, uplifting the people. It was a neighborhood. And we've all grown up. Brother Williams, I know you come up, you're a little bit older than me, so you definitely came up in that time where it was a village that raised a child. You saw somebody doing something, you could pop them upside the head, take them upstairs, they're gonna get popped upside the head again. So we kind of came up with that. And now, that's being, well, you can't do corporal punishment anymore. I think that's what it's called. You snatch a kid up. It's kind of one of the reasons why I left the Board of Education 20 years ago. Because, you know, if a kid acts out, sometimes you gotta, you know, shake them up. You know, not hit them, but you gotta, sometimes you need a snap. You gotta snap them into reality. They come into school, they hungry. We ignore that fact. Some of us ate, you know, we had good meals. We was hungry. We had a lot of sugar in our diet too. Waffles, syrup, toast, jelly, tea, you know, cereal. The cereal was real good actually. Very simple. Didn't need milk. It wasn't flakes. That was one of my favorites. But okay, so that was the idea behind the cover. 1921. So being I said, you know, my parents, you know, they down with the movement, community upliftment. Prior to this, because I don't really like to start, I don't think about the slavery aspect. I got to go beyond that, where the people went through the struggle and we actually started doing things on our own, in our own community. The example that you see today is the one in Greenwood, Oklahoma, the Black Wall Street, and that concept was really birthed through the teachings of Marcus Garvey, who taught us that, okay, if we can't fit into mainstream society, we have to make our own. So we did that. We go, we make our own. We have our own banks. We have our own schools. And we're living, we're fine. So what happens? We still live in a world of white supremacy. To this day. So white supremacy, envy, jealousy, hatred, it's not a white person per se, but that's what I've seen. So they don't like it, they destroy it. You do something good, you're trying to help people. I'm bringing up real life examples, you know, like Primerica, company that try to help people get their finances together. Okay, you sit down in my living room, you tell me, you know, you spend $100 on cheese, right? You're lactose intolerant, but you eat the cheese anyway. Can't you use that money to buy something healthy and spend less money doing it? Because like you said, the food is fake, a lot of it. I don't know if you saw a video that's floating around on YouTube. They had a hamburger that's sitting out for a month and it didn't go bad. I don't know about you. 5 years, sometimes it's expensive.
They have one now with, they're injecting chicken into some kind of something
Arson.
to make it arson, to make it plumper.
That's the other thing. You know, we're doping up the cows. When I was growing up, you know, we had good size on us. Very good size. The kids of today are kind of obese. And you put hormones in everything. So that's the reason behind the cover for 1921. 1965, we did a moment of silence earlier. You know, that was 50 years ago. Malcolm X, assassinated. Very powerful brother. We did the moment of silence, you know, I felt that. You know, that actually moved me. And that, he was here. He was here for a purpose. It was short-lived. I mean, he didn't reach 40 years old. He said a lot in a little bit of time. And he turned his life around. Because he almost got caught up in the traps that's laying for you. 1968. Pivotal. There was a time before Malcolm X was assassinated and before King was assassinated, they actually got together and planned a way to get people, all people, but specifically black people. They were trying to get us on point mentally for the changes that were ahead, because the oppression is 24/7, 365. It doesn't stop. So in order to combat that, you gotta have a plan. Financial plan, educational plan. I want to tell you something about, I'm gonna go backwards for a second. Marcus Garvey had millions of followers, no internet. Nobody talks about that. And everybody wants to have all these followers online. But what does that do? What does that mean? He got people, he got millions of dollars coming in. He's putting out books. You know, he's not online. He's not making a movie. He's not even doing a workshop. This right here is informational, educational. There's a lot going on. He's writing books. They're in vehicles, riding low, basically, because you can't be out and about. This is the 20s. They could, you know, we're getting legally killed now, but back then, you know, they had license to come and hunt you down. Like, where you going with the information? Where you going? You got books. I'm not taking your books over this line. Take your books, go read your book, kill you, and then give out the information to the people that they were living in. That would make them destroy this type of community that was already thriving. So back, they got together, they had a plan. Malcolm gets assassinated. Moles in the organization, government moles. 3 years later, you know, King was nonviolent. Or so, let me not say that. We were taught that he was nonviolent. The media portrayed him as one thing. You know, come to find out, you know, in some of King's other speeches that don't hit the radio, he actually was moving in a revolutionary manner. Start talking about economics. You start talking about economics and shutting down cities. All right, you know what? We're not going to ride the buses anymore. Okay? I don't know about you. I'm trying to translate it to today. 2 million people, on average, ride the subways. They make billions of dollars. You can't do that today. You can't shut down the subway. Because we all got an excuse why we need to be somewhere. And it's kind of true, because we live in a capitalist society. So we lived in a capitalist society back then too. So how did they shut down the buses? I don't know. I guess we're going to try and find out. 1968. Right before that, King was doing his speeches. The wars, he was protesting everything. Speaking out, his feelings were hurt. Because he was going to the White House. He was having these meetings. He was talking to the president. I don't know about you, I don't know the president. And we got a black one. And he don't know me, and he doesn't identify with black. You know, he's not black, he's a human. He's, biracial, whatever you want to call him. But he can't say that he's black, because that's not part of the game. King was around the president, and they were still getting beat up. Water hoses, people still being water hosed, being bit by dogs, all of these things. And he figured it out. It doesn't matter what I do, we're gonna keep getting oppressed. Once he figured that out, he started speaking out. We shouldn't be in Vietnam. Black people need to get together. It's not racism. Black and white can get along. However, we need to take care of ourselves first. He started talking that, and they said, we gotta kill this brother. The family sued too. The family sued and they won a lawsuit against the government because they found out that the FBI was monitoring him and was critical in his assassination. And that's a fact. So on the Martin Luther King website, they got the whole transcript. You can read everything.
90% of the government was responsible for it. The government was 90% responsible for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was proven in a court of law that nobody saw, that didn't get on TV. Now the book is basically laid out like this. This is a young boy going through childhood, and at the end, near the end of the book, he's a man. That would be me at the end. I'm in my 40s now. This is the first poem. So I was a kid thinking about, because I had to watch Roots, because I'm at their age. In 1977, they let us stay home. You remember that time? You were in school back then, right or wrong? They let us stay home for a couple of days so we could watch Roots. Yeah. We actually had days off from school to watch Roots. Alex Haley, who come to find out, they said that it was actually like a made-up story. And it was some factual information missing. But regardless of all that, some of our ancestors did come on slave ships. So this is where dedication came from. Dedication. This is for all the trailblazers that did it before me. The ones who got their heads cracked so I could walk to school in one piece and not fear the enemy. Where would we be without the pain and struggles of our ancestors who crossed the Atlantic unwillingly? The ones who died on the front lines so you could be free. When will we open our eyes, take a look, and really see that modern day slavery is here to stay if we don't resist the vices that control our brain? Take a stand for something important, or live the rest of your life in pain and vain. I'm trying to bring some tears of joy to the ones with open minds, the ones willing to leave their problems behind. This is dedicated to the special people that have made the choice to move our hearts with the power of their voice. The truth is undeniable, so you don't have a choice. That's me as a child. I don't know about you, but at that age, I probably was about 10. 10-year-olds shouldn't be thinking about stuff like that. At 10, you just really started learning how to tie your shoelaces quick. You're not too far removed from that. You go to the next step. Did we see this in Ferguson?
Yeah.
I know, I saw those images. They was carrying these signs, military out. So everything is circular. This is the second time that we're seeing this. It's actually kind of scary. Anybody had a gun held to them? Are they protecting them, or do they think that they're threats and they might have to,
Possibly.
bayonet them down or shoot them? They got tanks. I mean, I give it to them. It takes a lot of courage to get out there and march. We always got one.
Probably
Liberal Jew, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. Speaking of, I got a story from yesterday. Hey, my brother right here. I called him, got stuck on the ice. We trying to push the car. He's not there yet. A mutual friend of ours. We trying to get the car out of the ice. So, a white guy from the neighborhood, where my mother lives now, is re-gentrified again. Brother Duran, you from that neighborhood, right? You remember? We went from, it was mixed, it was a lot of whites, blacks, then the drugs came, whites left, drugs got filtered out, whites came back. So, it's kind of same thing over and over again. The white guy comes and he helps me push out the car. Now, I'm saying that to say because we have conversations, and sometimes, I post things online. Some things are very, angry, if you want to say. I could be viewed as angry. I try not to be. See, I'm smiling right now for you, brother. So the guy, he comes and he helps push us out. He said, hey, I don't have anywhere to go. I'm going to help you get out of this ice patch. So I had to laugh. Because my brother told me, he said, hey, if he knew the conversation that you just had 3 days ago, I don't think he would have helped you. I said, why won't he help me? I was fine. He saw me struggling. He's a human. That's why I try not to get into color too much. Because you're always going to have one of these. The march that I'm trying to figure out, if there's a march with a bunch of white people, or do you have the courage to be him? You're the black person.
That's coming up.
It's coming up?
It's called a revolution.
That's what I'm talking about, brother. But you know what? You think that man gonna make it to the end of the march? You put yourself in his shoes and change the color, you gonna make it to the end without facing some type of assault?
Ask yourself this question: you think they'll ever need to have a march?
Yeah, they don't really need a march. No,
I think they do a lot of times.
there's no need for a march because they control everything. My friends told me I talk too much. I kind of hate that. If that's what it was. But I fought it, right, brother? You tell me to shut up, right? Did I? When you say I talk too much back then, did I shut up or did I keep going? Got it? Did I keep going? I mean, if I'm telling the truth, you figure, you want to hear it. That's why you have friends. Your people that actually want to hear your story. Because you could be doing the same thing with somebody and they got a different experience than you. Because when I go home, we assume that everybody gets love. And that's kind of where we work from. So we as friends, we get together. I can go to your house to eat, you can go to my house to eat, vice versa. But, there's a lot of hate in these streets too. You get up here, we come together right here. Back in the days, this would be like a secret meeting. Except we put it online. Because this is still word of mouth interaction. Like for most of us here, we have interacted already. Like you're not an online friend or a Facebook friend or anything like that. I mean, we actually human. I mean, when we could all play big, bad, and tough, and nobody's gonna do anything to me. But in the '80s, I mean, I would fight if I had to. I really tried to avoid fighting because for some people it's a game. But I was afraid. There was a lot of days I was afraid, but I couldn't show it because crack was pretty bad. Changed people. People that you thought you knew, they got strung out on that. They don't recognize you. Spent a lot of time in that lab. It's not even an age thing. It's more about, it's mentally. We're always going to come to a crossroads in our life. The things we used to do or what we need to do. That happened to me a couple of times already. That's happened twice. It's going to keep happening because when you keep fighting white supremacy or racism, sexism, it's a lot of isms if you really think about it. Ism, schism, yeah, that's a good one. There's a lot of stuff out here to kind of basically keep you from being yourself. I guess I would call myself, I was a, I don't know, what you call a cool nerd. What do you call that? I could play ball, so I could say some things that maybe the next person who couldn't play, he couldn't say. Because once you get accepted into these little circles or cliques, you win. You're good to go. So, I stay in my lane. This is the Little Rock 9, by the way. Some more imagery. They gotta be escorted to school. Why? Segregation. It's about to be eradicated. But let's think back to back then. Think about it. These kids, their parents, they were fighting them. They were doing the lawsuit thing. They want to go to school, with white kids, and vice versa. We all should be able to go to school together. But the way the system was set up, they wasn't having it. They didn't want us in their neighborhoods. But here they are. They're being guarded going to school. Could you go to school under those conditions? Could you focus? I don't think so. Kind of scary, actually. What you go through, what you're going to continue to go through. I mean, we need protection, yeah, but that's a scary situation. You're talking about kids going to school, armed guards. We always need protection for some reason. Notice it. Back in the day, right? The presidents, they got armed guards for us. Is it for us or against us? I don't know. I'm just going to school. I'm just marching. But they out there in case something jump off. Like in Ferguson. They was waiting. I don't know. You ask me tomorrow, I might say something different. I mean, I don't know. Okay. All right, we know who these people are, or we should. Emmett Till, Oscar Grant III, Yusef Hawkins, Sean Bell, and Amadou Diallo. Common link? Killed by the system, killed by ignorance, white supremacy, fear. Damn, I thought we were free. I feel like I jumped back in a time machine and it's 1953. I am Emmett Till, I am Yusef Hawkins, I am Amadou Diallo, I am Sean Bell, I am Oscar Grant III. I am a man that lived his life based on a plan. Born to be a general, so I had to take a stand on the ground of the land that oppressed my ancestors. We rise against the grain, fighting the effects of slavery, and endure the pain as you try to stifle our brain with Ritalin, Tylenol, and Adderall. It's all the same. You chopped off our toes, but we could never be lame. I escaped with Harriet Tubman, so my life will never be the same. You can't hear my screams. I got doused with fire hoses and the dogs bit my spleen. Now I sit here with a torch waiting to be lit by a bunch of mentally dead people that have already been lynched in the mind. God help me. I need more time. Yes, I'm a Native American in the US of A. I have a lot on my mind. They took God out of the schools. I wonder why. Go to the next one. That's my reflection. Most of you have that information. That's contact information. Any questions about today? Any questions? Brother Williams, any questions?
Question.
Any? Brother Ron?
Your thought process is very interesting. How, I write too, right? So this is just something, I can learn from you. During your thought process, how did you know that you wanted to tell the story, or was you just telling it to yourself? Because a lot of times I write for myself. So when did you feel that, during your thought process, you wanted to share this information out?
That's a good question. Well, when you write a book, when you write a memoir,
It's a memoir, right?
right? When you write a memoir, who are you talking to? Right? Yourself. At
Right.
first.
Right.
Then you have to, or anything that we view, we try to make sense of it. If I see something on TV, I try to put myself in that position to understand what is actually being said. That's the only way it can make sense to me. So, when we were growing up, going through a lot of things, the only way that I could make sense was to write it down and try to get into why I was feeling the way I was. Like, I didn't understand. I didn't understand the mix of emotions between playing a sport. You love sports. You're chasing girls. You drawing. You do art. We write. We having fun. We eating meals in each other's house. But then when I walk down the street to go from your house to my house, I actually could lose my life from a drug addict or a cop. And that's what my thought process was, to make it make sense. I had to write it out.
Well, when did you feel that you wanted to share these thoughts with people? Because I have thoughts that I write down, but I won't share. So I wanted to know, when did you feel that you can share these thoughts during your thought process? You know what I mean? But writing this work and you saying, okay, now I want to take this and put it into a form of a memoir or book. I mean, it'll help me out understand.
What good is information, or if you hold it? If I know something that can help somebody else, like that, the book really helped me get through some things. And I knew I wasn't the only one going through it. I knew that. This, systemically, like, this is what it is. And that's why, I look up to the older generation, because, they here. They still here. And they went through it. Like, they really went through it. Like, we getting the remnants of it. But, like Brother Williams, he from a different generation. They went through it. And I respect that. So if anything, it's really written for them to see, hey, one of us actually tried to speak on it after, King and Malcolm X got murdered. Because all these other people that are out here, they got agendas. I'm just trying to tell the truth and help people. Help people see that you're not the only one that's going through it.
Thank you. How long have you been writing? All your life?
Pretty much for now. I started writing at age of 9. Age of 9 or 10, putting it together. I did a lot of ghost writing, and I don't know who got the material. Let's put it like this: when you're at a ghost writing company, you just write the material and they pass it along. So one day you listen to a record, and if you wrote something and you like, Dad, I got to give this away because you're contributing to the culture. Like, oh wow, that's on my rhyme right there. But I can't tell you that, because you ain't gonna believe me. And the person who got it, they don't know me. But that's the whole purpose of ghostwriting.
Right.
They helping the person,
Informing about this.
Yeah. So it's a whole thought process.
So what you saying, there's a lot of frauds out here? Right?
There's a lot of fraud, and I'm not gonna say frauds. That's a negative word. Let's put it like this: there are creative people, and then there are people who need to do what you created. You know, like you can write it, but maybe you can't sing it. I can't sing. I'm not a singer. Maybe he's a well, he ain't a singer. Because we don't sing. But I mean, that's what it is. Just like everybody can't get up here. You can't be up there. Like sometimes it's gotta be a calling, an anointing. That's everything in life. You know, that's basically where I came from. Spiritual. You know, I try not to do religious. I have nothing against religion, but I'm more of a spiritual person. Because at the end of it all, or most of us, we pray to a higher being, the highest being. Whatever, and religion is different, they have different names, but it's the same entity. So I feel like we can all come together on that. But religion is really here, it separates us all. We all praying to God. What's the problem?